The big, beautiful breakup this week. The future of the EV, solar, and space industries is in question after the very public collapse of the bromance between, what do you call himself? Techno King Elon Musk and US President Donald Trump. On June 3rd, Elon called the congressional spending bill, known as the Big Beautiful Bill, an abomination. If you didn't know, by the way, the Big Beautiful Bill is not really a nickname. It's actually called the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. On June 5th, Trump said a good way to save money could be canceling Elon's government contracts. Elon fired back, tweeting that he could just decommission the SpaceX Dragon crew. In fact, he didn't say he could. He said he would, which would lead to the U.S. having to ask Russia for rides to the ISS. Okay, let's pause for a second here. What? Can you just... Is it possible that we are learning what the negative outcomes can be from having thin-skinned billionaires control massive parts of like national security critical infrastructure? Are we learning that now?
Yeah,
Did we
honestly,
learn it?
Legitimately, my first, most immediate and strongest feeling that I had when seeing this happening was, oh, this might actually be a really good thing for NASA. Their budgets are probably still getting slashed regardless, which kind of sucks, but we'll see. But hopefully this was kind of a learning moment of like, oh, wow, we probably shouldn't have something so critical almost entirely lean on one very specific external company, because Boeing and Blue Origin really ain't it right now.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, the idea was to have multiple options. Yeah. That's where Boeing was supposed to come in.
Yeah, I don't know. It would be great if there was multiple options, but I also don't think that, in my opinion, I don't think we should be at a state where NASA is incapable of doing the thing. We should just be at a state where it makes more economic sense for a what are they, NGO, whatever, a corporation to do the thing instead.
Hey, look, I'm pro competition, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And sometimes competition can take place between private and public entities.
And there are wildly incredible things that SpaceX has done, which is great. So if they're winning like the majority of the contracts, that's fine. But we want competition to be in the space. We don't want there to be a situation where it is actually the U.S. asking Russia for rides to the ISS again because there's a spat between a corporate entity and the president. That's crazy. We don't want this to be a thing. And it doesn't matter if it's Elon. It doesn't matter if it's Trump. That's irrelevant, to be completely honest. I don't want this to be able to be a thing ever.
No, the crazy part, Luke, is that we're not even talking about a spat between a corporate entity and the president.
Yeah, really, it's a
person. We are talking about
a
spat between an individual who holds this unbelievable, I would say unprecedented amount of control over the United States' ability to do space.
Yeah, and this is a super nation level political issue right now, because there's like sort of a Cold War space race type thing going on between the US and China right now. There's this like get back onto the moon thing that's going on, and it's interesting how that's going to be playing out. There's the potential drawback of Artemis, which I'm really hoping it's not going to happen. Yeah, like Drac Ryu in Floatplane Chat said, we still have the Artemis rockets, and it's like, yeah, but they're trying to pull that program back. This is my whole point. I think we should recognize this issue that is showing its face right now, even though a lot of people kind of knew it existed already, and go, oh, maybe we shouldn't be crushing the NASA budgets. If anything, maybe they should pump up a little bit. I do support the idea of looking at efficiencies there and making sure they're actually being properly efficient, because there is some question marks, like why the heck can't we get back to the moon right now? That's awkward. But I think it's dangerous to put all of your chips in one corporation. And that's effectively how it is right now, and that's not good. Yeah. I'm hoping that all of this will result in very good things. Yeah, let's keep going.
Okay. Later on June the 5th, some random account told Elon to cool it. He listens and walks back the Dragon decommissioning, because obviously that was never happening anyway.
Yeah, he was going to do this. Yeah, anyway. Yeah.
That was insane. Tesla's stock took a dive from the kerfuffle, partially because the big, beautiful bill will make a number of things worse for EV makers and EV owners, including removing government incentives for EVs and solar and requiring new yearly payments from EV owners. I
didn't know the yearly payments part. What?
I am extremely confused by a lot of this. It's been sort of mind blowing to watch this bromance develop. When you have people whose agendas are so completely opposed to each other, and to watch the way that they have publicly pretended to be aligned, like that whole thing where they shot a Tesla commercial on the in front of the White House. I think it was
weird.
I think it was CNN. Got a picture of Trump's Tesla. It's just like still parked there.
I mean, he wouldn't be driving it anyways.
Like, he apparently actually bought it and it's just still there. I don't know that he actually paid for it. I would have no way of knowing whether that actual transaction took place or not, but apparently the car is just still sitting there, which is hilarious. Anyway, in the past, Elon has actually supported removing all government incentives for EV and solar, but also for oil and gas. But the big, beautiful bill keeps oil and gas incentives in place, which Elon sees as unfair. But I mean, I think the question here is twofold. I think I've made my position very clear on, whether I think Elon has shown who he is at this point or not. He's shown who he is to me, and when people show you who they are, you should believe them. I believe him.
He showed you who he is.
But this much I think makes very clear how opportunistic this whole relationship was. How obviously driven by an agenda of deregulation for his own companies the whole thing was. The second that kind of fell apart, obviously two egos the size of these guys were going to result in this kind of a blow up. It happened faster and more explosively than I could have possibly anticipated. And I think the icing on the cake for me is not actually in our notes, but Elon posted the reason that the administration won't release the Epstein files is because Trump is in them. Have a nice day, DJT, something along those lines. And it's like, so
you're cool with him this whole time.
So you think you're the good guy because you literally spent hundreds of millions of dollars to get this guy elected. And then after the fact, you're like, yeah. And like, I knew that he was in the Epstein logs. Also, I thought everyone knew that for like ages. Like,
I think we've all known that the whole time.
Haven't we known that forever?
Yeah.
Like, what do you?
I guess maybe he's saying that he's in parts that we haven't seen. I don't know.
Well, I mean, they're like.
I have no idea.
I'm going to get the details wrong. But when the whole thing was going down with Jeffrey Epstein and Maxine Maxwell, whatever her name was, Ghislaine Maxwell, when that whole thing was going down, like, Trump didn't even denounce Epstein right out of the gate. Like, the whole thing's been so obvious and ridiculous. Anyway, silver lining, Tesla's offering 0% financing on Cybertrucks if you buy it with full self-driving, which amounts to about a $2,000 discount, because you have to spend money on full self-driving, which Lord only knows if Tesla is ever going to deliver at this point. It was really interesting watching.
Is it silver lining?
No, Riley's just memeing, I think.
Okay.
I think Riley did this topic.
All right.
Yeah, it's been interesting watching Elon slowly admit the things that I've been saying for years at this point. The current hardware is not going to work. They're going to have to like upgrade like millions of cars if people ultimately demand to have the thing that they were promised. That is, if they can ever deliver it with all cameras, which I personally do not think they will. Good luck, everybody.
Yeah.
And this goes to show
think
why
that's
having a bunch of like rich dudes running everything is probably not the way. I feel for my American friends, though. I got to be honest with you.
Panda Shoot said Tesla is already using Autopilot to deliver cars to buyers in Texas. That's neat. That's cool, but it's not everything.
It's super cool, but what it isn't is level 4 or 5 autonomy. It isn't that. It's cool, but it isn't level 4 or 5 autonomy. And what we've known about Tesla's culture for many, many years now is that they are a culture of opacity. They are not a culture of transparency. They redact all the details of the incidents that Autopilot and full self-driving vehicles are involved in. They don't respond to inquiries from media. They don't respect others' right to have knowledge and information about the beta testing that they're performing on public roads, putting people's lives at risk. These are things that we've known for a very, very, very long time. And when somebody breaks my trust, I don't trust them anymore. Like, you can't just keep breaking my trust over and over again and saying, yeah, but I'm not going to show you, but it's like, it's working really good, but I'm not going to show you how it's working really good, but trust me, it's really good. It's going to be ready. It's going to be ready next year this time. Like, how, literally, right? That's what fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me means. If somebody shows you who they are, believe them. All right. So, yeah, anyway, well, sorry, what I was going to say is I feel for my American friends because I don't feel like they had a lot of great options this last election. And, you know, I really am rooting for you guys. I saw Walmart increase the price of bananas corresponding to the tariffs. And like, there's this hilarious exchange where someone was challenging Lipke or whatever on, like, hey, yeah, tariffs are affecting pricing. And he's like, yeah, but, you know, like, if things are made in America, then it's fine. And they're like, yo, you can't grow bananas in America. Like, okay.
I think the best part was he said, you should build it in America. And they were like, you can't build bananas in America.
Yeah.
Just the wording was great.
Oh, man. Nicolas Cage says we don't choose our candidates. Yeah, 100%. And look, I'm not going to get into, you know, the whole thing that happened with Kamala, right? Because that whole thing was just such an epic failure on the Democratic Party's side, just the way it played out. I don't think anyone got a chance to figure out if she was a decent candidate or not. She campaigned for like 6 weeks. So, yeah, man, we feel for you guys for what it's worth. Yeah. DeSeju says, tech please, didn't come here for politics. You're 100% right. It's just that, man, are they ever affecting tech a lot right now?
Yeah.
Like, I had a really interesting conversation with someone today. Can't say who it is because I'm on a bit of a trip right now. That's a bit of a secret. But I had a really interesting conversation with someone today, and they were talking about a product that was unrelated to what I'm doing. So, you know, just, you know, and totally unrelated to what I'm doing, totally unrelated everything. But I was just chatting with somebody about a product that they were working on. You know, development was done. They were ready to deliver it to market. It was going to come in at a really aggressive price point. And then they looked at it. They did all the math for what it was going to look like with import tariffs. And basically, it completely killed it for the US. So we can say all day, like, oh, yeah, we don't want to talk about politics. We don't want to care about politics right now. But they are having a huge impact on the affordability of technology, which which I believe is the biggest problem that we have in tech right now. We have cool tech. It's just, it's getting out of reach.